I think for a lot of people, life is so busy. There's so much stress and there's an alienation. Like the internet has brought us together, but not in an old school way where you'd see people in the backyard at a barbecue. You see people on a screen. And it's changed things. And so I think it's really telling when you say to somebody, hey, what's your ideal Saturday? And it's just the simple stuff, getting together with people that they care about or spending time with their best friend, their spouse, their buddy, whomever. I just want to be creating memories, sharing good times, having laughs with those people. So what I'm really proud of doing here is facilitating these conversations to get people to recognize what's important, hold it up on a pedestal, and say, this is what it's all for.
Yeah, I think we've been pretty blessed to help so many people realize their ideal Saturday and then you challenge them to go fearlessly live that way. And we love to help others do that too.
Hope you're ready for the next episode here. It's Saturday State of Mind. I'm Mike. This is Jess. We're both Benicos. We work at Arcadia Financial, and we're just having conversations about living every day like it's Saturday.
Mike, I am so glad you said that because I wanted to ask you, what is your ideal Saturday?
Why did you want to ask me that, Jess?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me why I wanted to ask you that question. This is great. It's because we talk about that a lot here at Arcadia with all our clients, people that come in just to check us out, see what we're about. We talk to them about the importance of retiring, not all about what you're retiring from, but what you're retiring to. What are you going to do in retirement? Yeah. What does your Saturday, endless Saturdays, look like? You know, if you could do anything you want, let's paint a picture. It's not like spending time with the grandkids. It's like, okay, that's cool. Give me a little more, like Bob Ross, like a friendly little tree over here. Like paint me a picture.
Bob Ross is really in vogue these days.
He's
got merch.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's had that Chia Pet out forever, and then
much more than that. There's a place in town though that pizza joint,
right? It's a new pizza joint.
There's a Bob Ross channel, and the pizza joint on the televisions plays the Bob Ross channel the whole time that you're there.
It literally, maybe it's like the best of VHS somewhere. I imagine it's on a VHS. I don't know where they got the player from, but it's nonstop Bob Ross. I mean, we've been going
those happy
for
trees
over a year.
What's the original Bob Ross worth, you figure?
In a ridge?
Yeah. I mean, he made a lot of them. He could bang out those landscapes. You know what I mean?
He really could.
Yeah. We're getting off topic. So
unless your ideal Saturday is living in a Bob Ross painting, which honestly isn't that bad, but
they're pretty idyllic.
We asked our clients and folks coming to see us here, like, what is it that you're retiring to? What do you want your Saturday to look like? And we often like to share, here's my ideal Saturday. Yeah. Get to know me a little bit.
It's who we are, right? Yeah. There's that Office Space meme. What would you say that you do here?
Sure.
And for ages as financial planners, we'd say we manage your money. We, get you a better rate of return than you can get on your own or whatever. And we just learned with time that that's not our DNA at Arcadia. We think your most precious resource is time, right? So how do you want to spend your time? And to, I guess, navigate that question, we've always looked at it through the lens of Saturday. Like Saturday is the best day of the week. It's when usually you make plans to see family or go see that show or whatever. It's like if you could live every single day or a day over and over and over again, it'd probably be Saturday. So we've always painted this thing or like allowed people to paint it like with this framework. Say any given Saturday, there's no obligation. There's no graduation to go to, the birthday, errands you got to run, like get an oil change. This Saturday is all yours, and you could be doing anything with anybody, anywhere. So when we do this imagining, money doesn't have to be a constraint either. And something really interesting happens when you add that into the mix, but then compare it to the results. So we'll get back to that. So any given Saturday, you could be doing anything with anybody, anywhere. Like, what would you do?
Right.
Right.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah. What's your Saturday?
So we're kind of, to some extent, somewhat hopeless workaholics. I feel like for a number of years, we were always looking for something to do, like weekend warrior type. Okay. We would build outdoor furniture, like we built deck tables and sun chairs and all this stuff. We've done improvements in the house.
I've always dining room table. We've built a lot of furniture.
Yeah. So oddly enough, I mean, I like getting up reasonably early. I feel like it's a superpower to like get up with the rising of the sun. I like making coffee. I like it when there's not like a lot of commotion. You can just take your time in the morning, relax, maybe make a battle plan for banging out a couple of those projects. And again, there's a difference between a project and say like an errand or a honey-do list. Like a project is something you look forward to doing.
Not that I've told you like 16 times that like the kid's closet door keeps falling off the stinking track.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times. And, there's a reason now that you understand.
Newsflash. They're all off the tracks currently.
Yeah. But the craftsmanship on the house prior to me even being involved when that thing was first built, is under question here. Not really me as the
Okay, but you're doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah, because it's like a earn your beer type of thing mentality, if you will. I like getting something done, feeling accomplished, maybe getting in a sweat, right? Like just feeling like you've gone in some exercise and you've done something. There's an accomplishment you've earned, and so now it's the afternoon, and I like firing up the grill, having a beer. Having friends or family over, putting on some good tunes, that sort of thing. I would say my Saturday has evolved a lot, especially as our boys have grown. The home projects have kind of gone away, and we've substituted in adventures with the kids. It's been a lot of hiking. We bring the dog with us, outdoor, and it's, to give them the time of the year, it might be bike riding instead. We've done kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding, but just getting outside, being in nature, fresh air, exercise, and then later it's like feasting, it's music, it's laughter, it's good times. It's just really simple stuff for me for the most part.
That's pretty cool.
I think so.
So, what's interesting is knowing that about you, if you were like a client of mine, like that gives me so much insight into how to plan for your retirement, what you want to do. Because, say that you are someone that's like, I want to like buy this big audacious car and go like driving in and like turning it in every year, or like taking these like European trips, and I want to spend like on the road all the time and dining at 3-star Michelin restaurants and everything. That's really cool too, but that's going to require a little bit of different of a budget. So isn't it kind of neat how, we ask like the people coming to spend time with us, like, what is your ideal Saturday? And sometimes we're met with a little bit of funny stare. Be like, am I in the right place? Like,
right.
what is it?
Is this counseling?
Right. And it might be, but like, did she finally trick me into it? But it just gives so much insight in what that looks like. And the concept of Saturday, I think, is really neat too, because when I say, living every day like it's Saturday, if I'm talking to 100 different people, everyone could have very different ideas, but they know what that means to them. Saturday, I think, is a feeling.
Yeah.
Isn't cool?
That is cool.
Oh, thanks.
What's your ideal Saturday, Jess?
Oh, thank you for asking. I was about to volunteer it if you didn't.
Sounds like you.
Well, I've known you for about 20 years. So it's kind of similar because I think it was drastically different.
We're often doing the same thing on Saturday.
You're there typically.
It's good for the marriage. Right.
But it's just I like to not necessarily get up early, but I like to get up and have no one else notice. Right. Yeah. And go like find myself a little spot, preferably outside, even in the winter. Like, we have this covered deck, and I'll like throw on like the parka, with my like slippers on and a cup of coffee. And there is something about like, freshly fallen snow, and like you hear some birds chirping and like the sun's coming down, and it's like
those birds should have flown south.
It's on them for not
crying out for help. But you think it's
glory. Isn't this beautiful? It's like, no, they're suffering. Wow, my Saturday morning is going to get real different.
This is a twisted Saturday. No, I get what you're saying.
But anyways,
I don't know anybody who loves fresh air as much as you do.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. People are like, "What's something you like?" I say air, and people are like, well, "Don't you just need air?" And I'm like, "It's something about just smelling fresh air." Your brother tells me, he goes, "You're the only person I know that when I go to your house, you're going to have a window open, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is." And I'm like, "What's getting the germs out in the winter?" But just like having that like fresh air come in, it feels.
And I appreciate that you need your quiet time. I mean, you're running a business, Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday, I wake up. The kids barely even acknowledge my existence, but if they hear you, they're going to run upstairs, like tackle you in bed. The dog waits outside your door. Like everyone's waiting for, but everyone always is looking for you, right? So I get why you try to like get you like your quiet time in, even if it's
Because
for
listen,
a few
I want to
moments.
spend time with everybody, right? But like, can I get
Well, you
10
gotta say
minutes?
that publicly, Jess, but I get it.
Right. I know. I'll tell you after. So I look forward to it. But it's, yeah, going outside and not just in winter, obviously, any time of the day, like, creeping to like the front like of the house where no one goes out and there's that like chair and table. And it's just like breathing everything in, like putting the phone away, just being like still for a couple minutes. Like that's my morning. The rest of the day is typically being outdoors, doing those fun activities with everybody, making, breaking the sweat. And I love food too. I'm a foodie, like you are too. You know that about me. But margarita and tacos, or like a seafood, like dinners. Big seafood fan, or like pizza, beer. Just whatever. Just good food, and being surrounded by good people and tunes and things like that. So
What's cool about this is it's not just you and I, but a lot of the people that we work with or we talk to at say like our events or how we like originally meet people, we'll ask people to make their own Saturday declaration. And yeah, every so often you'll hear people like, oh, I got to go down Newberry Street and buy a whole bunch of stuff, right? Or I'm going to go out and get like a makeover. And sometimes you have to prompt people like, are you going to do that? Like, this is your ideal Saturday. And, sometimes on the other end of like a really stressful year or like a long winter. But when you get people dialed into like, what is your most ideal day? I hear all the time about hiking with dogs. I hear all the time about visiting kids and grandkids.
Right.
I hear all the time about meals. Like, and it's, people say I'm a foodie. I think everybody to some extent or another
I'm a
is
foodie in the fact that I like to shove food in my mouth.
Who don't? Right?
And I prefer if it's good food.
Yeah, but there's this other quality that meals bring people together.
Right.
You can break
Breaking
bread.
bread. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Remember that the framework was anything, anywhere with anyone, and money isn't an issue. People say like it's at the picnic table in my backyard, or it's like my daughter's house. This is where everybody, just like gets together. It's,
Well, they
it's
say-
a gathering spot.
Right. They say the best things in life are free. Right?
People for their ideal Saturday, they don't need to be in Paris, right? They don't need to be on like a riverboat cruise. I mean, like, yes, it might be on the bucket list, but it's not their best day. It's oftentimes just sharing laughs and creating memories with the people that they really care about, or pursuing their hobbies, or just like you hear about like the animals all the time. And that's really cool. But what do they say? It's the simple things, right?
Sure.
The best things in life are free. And so I think, too, what's helpful about all of this as a framework is it's remarkable. I mean, a lot's changed in this country. I was thinking, I think, just even on the drive this morning, about how much different life is today than it was in the 80s when I was coming up, right? Like if you go through your old neighborhood, it doesn't even look the same. Every house that used to be like one story is now 2 stories. And instead of being like one car in the driveway, there's 2 or 3 cars and they're all in a garage, right? Like life
There's so many 3-car garages. I'm like, who are all these people? 3 cars.
And
we
there's-
have 1 car.
People still struggle for sure, especially today with all the inflationary prices. Things are really expensive. But on the whole, most people have a better life now than they did in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. Like the standard of living's improved a lot, but people aren't necessarily happier.
Oh, no.
And there's a lot, like, listen, we could probably have a separate conversation on Saturday State of Mind just on that topic alone. But I think for a lot of people, life is so busy. There's so much stress and there's an alienation. Like the internet has brought us together, but not in an old school way where you'd see people in the backyard, right? At a barbecue. You see people on a forum, right? You see people on a screen and it's changed things. And so I think it's really telling when you say to somebody, hey, what's your ideal Saturday? And it's just the simple stuff, getting together with people that they care about or spending time with their best friend, their spouse, their buddy, whomever, right? And sometimes like it's just a dog. And it's like, I just want to be creating memories, sharing good times, having laughs with those people. So what I'm really proud of doing here is facilitating these conversations to get people to recognize what's important, hold it up on a pedestal and say, this is what it's all for, all the planning. When we're moving money around, we're making tax moves in April, we got to meet with the attorney and update stuff. We're not doing it strictly to just outfox the IRS. We're not doing it strictly to get a maximum rate of return and beat the market. I mean, these things are important, but are they of paramount importance?
Right.
not if you agree that time is your most precious asset. And if you're in agreement with us, then make that Saturday declaration. What do you want to be doing, right? Hopefully people, if you're watching, you can share that. There's comments or otherwise, like submit something back. We'll put out some information, I think, here at the end of the video. I'd love to hear what other people have as their ideal Saturday. What's your Saturday declaration?
Yeah, I think we've been pretty blessed to help so many people like realize their ideal Saturday and then, challenge them to go fearlessly live that way. And we love to help, others do that too.
It's a reason it's our namesake. I mean, the most thrilling part of the job for me is when people have started to echo this mantra back to us. Like, hey, Mike, Jess, it's good seeing you guys. Hope you had a good summer. I was living every day like it was Saturday. It's like become a thing. It's taken on a life of its own where people are embracing this. I'm going to try to live my best life every single day. And to facilitate that as your 9 to 5 is amazing.
Mike, I got to get out of here and live from Saturday.
Why not? Let's get out of here.
All right.
So we'll see you at the next episode, Saturday State of Mind.